5:30, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Our first item is our pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Vice Chair, could you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions? Call for a vote. Is approved. Public forum. Now is the time. If anybody in the public would like to approach the board, this is your time. Moving on to our presentation. Welcome. It's always a pleasure to have somebody of your knowledge here.
All right. Well, good evening. My name is Krista Biella. I'm the Executive Director of the Pride in the Tiger Foundation. Thank you very much for having me. I think most of you know me, but I always like to share my path to where I'm at. And so I started as a Painesville Bulldog a long time ago, was an SSU Mustang, which kind of ages me. My first job out of college was at St. Michael Albertville High School. I taught 9th through 12th grade health and physical education. I was there for 1 year, moved back to Marshall because somebody I loved was here. And I began working at Lion Financial, or the Schwan Food Company. I worked in collections, sales, and then marketing. We were eventually bought out by U.S. Bank, and I was the director of marketing there for about 7.5 years before I went to work with my husband and Ken Noyes at Grandview Financial, where I worked part-time as their director of marketing. And during that time, I was volunteering in my daughter's kindergarten classroom, and Kelly Knitzko said, "You're really good in the classroom. Have you ever thought about teaching?" And I said, actually. And so I went and got my license back and started subbing and found my way to a counseling program at University of North Dakota, and eventually back at Marshall Public Schools, working as a counselor, did that for 10 years. Decided I needed a little break, wanted to spend more time with my kids before Aubrey graduated, and so resigned, and the foundation position opened up very quickly. And the day that it opened, I got lots of emails and calls and said I should give it a try. So I love being able to blend my marketing background with my education background with the foundation, and now y'all know it's a plus, not an arrow, you see, because I'm also at the school still working at the high school. So, and I will be back next year doing both again, part-time with each. So very excited about that. I've really loved getting to work at both capacities for the kids. So it's always fun to brag about your kids. But this isn't just about bragging about my kids. It's about kind of highlighting the rich education that my kids have gotten at Marshall Public Schools. And that's why I love the foundation so much, is because I really have seen through my own experiences the great things that our school system is doing. And so my daughter Aubrey graduated, the pictures aren't in any order, but my daughter Aubrey graduated last year, and I had no question when she left that she was ready. I wasn't sad. I was so excited for her because I knew she was ready. Not only was she ready for the educational piece, but she's able to balance being a college athlete and a student very easily, and a very good student. And taking, she entered in, never took a PSEO class, entered in to her first year at Concordia really as a sophomore because of the opportunities that she had at Marshall Public Schools. And so I like to highlight that because I don't know if all kids get those rich experiences, and because of the activities and the different things that we offer at Marshall Public Schools, she was ready, and that was great to see. And I know our other daughter Morgan, who has had a lot of fun experiences, and I don't know, that top picture just is Tiger Pride. That was from sections this year in basketball, and our kids love being Marshall Tigers, and I think that's a great thing to see. And so I'm super grateful for the opportunity my kids have had, and that's why I love doing the work for the foundation, because I think what we do supports the great things that you all are doing in our schools. So the mission of the foundation is there, and in short, we like to provide opportunities for kids. And so that's what I talk a lot about, and you'll hear me say a lot, is it's for the kids. And that's why we're here and what we want to do. But we really want to just build on the great things that the schools are doing, prepare them and support not only our students, but also our teachers. And we do that in a couple different ways. Teacher impact grants, we do 2 cycles, one in October, one in March, and support our teachers in the classroom through the variety of things that they're doing. And then our student scholarships, which that's coming up here soon. So a little bit about the numbers. Here's a little view of the last 6 years of kind of giving that we've had within the foundation. And it includes this year. If you look over on the right at the teacher impact grants, we had our highest year of giving this year in October and March with a little over $90,000 that we gave back to the schools. And that does include some private schools. So we fund public and private schools through those teacher impact grants. Our memo of understanding with the video board and the gym says 75%, and we're well above that with Marshall Public Schools. I would say we're closer to 83%. And then this year we'll also have our highest year in scholarship giving at just almost $192,000 in scholarships that we'll give out here in May. So very exciting. You can kind of see a history of the numbers. You know, a large part of the jump that we've seen the last few years is because the markets have done well, and that's not all always going to be there. Certainly this next year might be a little less exciting related to the markets, and we're definitely just met with Bremer and looked at our portfolio, and just ensuring that we're kind of continuing to maintain that steady as we go. We never want to dip into our original funded endowments. We always want to just fund off of the earnings that we make on those at a certain percentage. And so I would say our board is somewhat conservative in terms of wanting to ensure that these funds are available for our students in perpetuity. So I feel good about that. I'm glad. I think we are balancing recognizing the need is higher, but also ensuring that it's lasting. So some of the progress or the changes that maybe we have seen over the last 2 years, a big one is if you've been in the gymnasium and been to an event, you've seen this beautiful video board that is up. And this was something that was in the works before I started. It kind of got put on hold due to COVID. And so when I joined the foundation in September of 2020, it was one of the first things that they kind of charged me to get done. So a month in, Baptism by Fire, we were working with Daktronics to get this installed, and I learned a lot. And I'm still learning about the technology because it can do a lot of great things. Very interestingly, I was up in Moorhead for Easter this past weekend and at church and ran into an old classmate of mine who is the Dean of Students or Dean of Admissions at Concordia. And he had been here for the Moorhead basketball game. And he's like, I got to ask you about this video board in the gym. And I said, let me tell you about the video board in the gym. It's a really long conversation because he serves on the foundation board for the Moorhead Legacy Foundation. So we had a great conversation. And he was just like, I would really like to have some of our board members visit with you. So I gave him my card. And so that's always fun to see. And I kind of was like, I've looked at your website a lot and kind of stole some ideas from you guys. So it's always fun to visit with people who see and recognize the great things that we're doing. All of the advertising spaces in the gymnasium are sold, essentially. This isn't the most recent picture. I was attending an event, sitting in front of Trisha, actually, at a wrestling event, and someone from Runnings approached me wanting some advertising space. So we created a space. So now if you look above kind of right above the U.S. Bank and over, there's a Runnings spot now. And then on the other side, it has Pride and the Tiger. So essentially, we could sell one more spot. So it generates about $70,000 in billable revenue each year. That's gross. Obviously, there's cost to putting the graphics up and, kind of maintaining all of that. But all of that money really does go towards teacher impact grants and the cost to run the foundation, which is pretty minimal. I'm kind of the cost outside of some printing of letterhead and things like that. So a good look at all of our sponsors. I like to share this with you because a lot of these sponsors have been supportive of the foundation for many years. And when I was working with Daktronics, when we were installing a new video board, you go through all these meetings to create these marketing prospectuses. And, they keep talking about, well, how many sites will their marketing get in the gym? And they kept talking about number of people in the gym. And I was trying to gather all these stats. And I kind of took a step back and I just said, you know what? I don't really think that's what it's about. It's about the story, and it's about the foundation and our school system and what the foundation does for students and what it does to support our teachers and our students. So it's not about, of course, our advertisers like to see their logo in there, but it's really about the story. And I think that's what makes our sponsors so loyal to us because they love what we do. And so I really like to share that story. And I've actually had Daktronics utilize kind of how we created our prospectus as an example now, because it isn't just about the advertising space, it's more about the story about what it does for our kids. So that's kind of a fun thing. But we've had quite a few new sponsors that you can see. Some of our newer ones are Channel Partners, Great America Financial, Relco, Minnesota Army National Guard, Legal Estate Planning Services, Edward Jones, and then we've had some for a long time. Avera, US Bank, SMSU, Hy-Vee, ACE, Viking Coke, Subway, Edina Realty. I mean, we've just had some really loyal advertisers, and so we're super grateful for them and their support. Another change, not necessarily to how we give grants, but the application itself. The first grant cycle I came in and realized I didn't feel like our application was super complete in terms of the information that it was asking for from our teachers, and I wanted to make it easier for them to know what to put on the application. And so just made it a little bit more user-friendly. It's form fillable. It asks for more details. Some of the big things that we really like to look at is, you know, the number of students that are impacted. Does it include technology and curriculum? Because I do like to run those, especially for the public schools past Todd and Beth, just to be sure that those are in line with the other things we're doing in the school, and continues to need the signatures from admin and Mr. Williams for approval. And so that has really helped when we meet then as a committee. We're able to kind of put it in a rubric, and it really does help with the decision making. So we have seen quite an increase in our applications. We've had a 48% increase in applications since 2020. I think some of that comes from, I did present to the entire Marshall Public School staff at the start of, was it just this last school year, or was it the year before? It all runs together. And just talked about the foundation, but also some of the other grants that we have given in the schools, and I think that has helped. And so I think the other piece too is people know me and I'm there, and so I do get a lot of questions at school about, you know, what do you think about this grant application? I can never guarantee funding. It's a committee decision, but I can say, you know, that seems to line up with things we've given in the past, or, you know, you kind of just giving them some direction on what they might be looking for those applications. And so that increase has been great. When I was presenting at the American Legion recently, they asked, what's your average grant that you award? And I don't know. But I know we award anywhere from $40 up to $15,000 in the last couple of years. So it's a wide range of things. You know, we give a lot of different things. We really try to look at sustainable things that are going to be used year after year. So lots of books. We've done a lot of robotic kits. The morning bins, welcoming students back to school after COVID, the rock wall at the new school. We're putting a fair amount of money into some tools and things that are going to be utilized in the new CTE Center, which is very exciting. And our board gets very excited about those things because they recognize the just direct impact that's going to have on our community as a whole, you know, in the very near future. So all great things. Our teachers are really doing great things in the classroom, and we see that through their applications. Scholarships, our award ceremony will be held May 18th, 7 p.m. at the Marshall High School. Last year, due to COVID, we did have to change up our usual banquet. We used to hold it at SMSU, and we're always grateful for their hospitality and help with that. It was a full banquet, meaning a meal was served. And last year, they just couldn't host the number of people that we needed, so we kind of reworked it, and it actually went over very well. We got great feedback from parents and students. Parents who had never been to the event before and parents who had been to it many times before said it was just a great way to hold it. So we are going to do that again this year. It'll be a program followed by a grab-and-go dessert made by a local baker. We'll give out about $192,000 this year. Some of our newest scholarships that have been added since I started are the Charlie Fisher Memorial Scholarship, the Mary Fisher Scholarship. That one was always kind of there, but they have a group now that's really wanting to work towards funding that to an endowment, which is exciting. The Johnson Family Dental Scholarship, Ray and Marlis Johnson Aviation, Trey Lance Scholarship, Walter Mayert, Jim McClinsky, Dr. Lloyd and Renee Peterson, Janie and Harry Wyloggy Family Scholarship, and the Wood Lake Lumber Scholarships. So all fun and exciting things. One of the big things when I started, I really recognized that I wanted to raise awareness about the foundation. I've lived in Marshall for 30 years and I knew about the foundation, but I had really no idea the huge impact that it has on our community until I started working there. And so it's been kind of my mission to just really raise awareness. New exciting thing that just came out in February, we launched it, is our new website, prideinthetiger.org. I invite you to go out and check it out. There's a lot of great things out there. We have some really fun pictures of the grants and things that we've given, but it also helps share our story a little bit better and provides an opportunity for people to donate at any time. Our teacher impact grant application is out there. We will have a link once our golf tournament registration is open. All of that will be out there and available for the public to see. So it's just a much more user-friendly. We've been grateful to have the school's website to kind of hold our information, but we recognized we had an opportunity to create a better marketing platform for our foundation. And we have some things that we're talking about in terms of trying to kind of increase our general giving for other areas of need that our website will play a key part in here in the next few years. Social media has been a huge part of what I've tried to do to raise awareness. And so you may have seen through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram our Thankful Thursdays. This is where we highlight the different donors we have for scholarships. Our Friday feature is oftentimes where I share stories about the grants that we give, but also things like Trey Lance deciding to create a scholarship, which was a very exciting announcement to make. And that's actually how we launched our website in February. And our sponsor spotlight, where we talk about our different sponsors in the community. And so we're seeing huge increases in our traffic and in our followers and our page reach. You'll see we have a 538% increase in our page reach, which is great. See that big spike there? That's Trey Lance. Super grateful for him. And he's been so humble to work with just because he doesn't really like to talk about himself. But I just keep telling him, you're helping me. Remember, you're helping me. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of funny when I looked at it. I was like, why did I have that big spike there? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So really to sustain our mission, we do it in several ways. Our annual and endowed scholarships that we have are ongoing and continuing to gather information. I am working with the video production students at the high school right now to create a testimonial video, which will include some of our local donors who have created scholarships and kind of sharing their story. And I'm super excited to get that done. I'm hopeful to have it done before the scholarship banquet in May. We do our fundraising. Our big fundraiser is our golf tournament in July, and we held a raffle at that time. Our gym sponsorships, and then social media, and then our website. So that's just really how we sustain our mission to ensure that we can continue to give back as much as we do. Some of our events, as I've shared, the scholarship ceremonies coming up, our golf tournament, put it on your calendar, July 11th. We'll be at the Marshall Golf Club again. Registration will open here soon for that. And then we're off on the Hall of Honor because of COVID. We're bringing that back, but we've moved it to fall. So we'll be having a Hall of Honor banquet on October 28th, and we are looking for nominations. There is a nomination, easy to fill form out on our website. If you know of a community member, a past teacher, past board member, someone that you want to recognize through the Hall of Honor. So very excited about that. It'll be my first Hall of Honor, so that'll be another new thing. So in short, we provide opportunities for kids, and we do that by connecting our school, our community, our businesses, and our alumni together. And really that's my mission, is just to continue to kind of share the good word about what we're doing and celebrate the successes of our school systems, because it is something to be really proud of. So are there any questions?
Great presentation.
Thanks.
Nicely done, Krista.
Is that the first time we've had all the advertising spots filled or
Yes.
almost filled,
Yeah.
whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when I came in, there was 5 spots open. And then we added an additional founding sponsor we added 2. So the deal is, when the video board was going to be installed, I was like, I am not putting that thing up with a blank spot. And so I called Chet Lockwood. I bought a lot of cars from him and said, Chet, you need to be up here, and here's why. And I told the story, and that's really what sold it for him. He's like, you're right. The school system is important in our community. And so it's the story. It's a great story to tell. It makes it easy. So I haven't really had to work that hard. People call me. So I would say all of them have come to me for the most part. Except maybe Great America. I probably knocked on his door a couple times. He didn't have hard sell. It was. Good questions. Any others?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Krista.
Thank you.
Moving on to our consent agenda, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Is approved. Moving on to our financials, motion to discuss. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Anything to discuss, since our financial manager's not here? Did you have anything you want to bring up?
I don't have anything to share.
All right, we'll just vote on it. It's approved. Anything, any info on the financials? No? Okay. Board forum, board members.
I have a summary of our governance executive committee meeting. I guess we're gonna start doing this from now on, so everybody has information on our committees, so. Under negotiations, I think some of these have been done already, cause our meeting was 2 weeks ago, but Dion is working on non-certified staff. We're looking at possibly adding a mentor for our para people. The job would mentor new paraprofessionals. Scheduling, we've discussed this before, the middle school schedule is getting changed and adding ag and facts. Have we got an ag teacher yet?
We do not have an ag teacher yet.
So we're still working on that. And also Maytech schedule is gonna change, gonna go from a 4-block schedule to a 5-block schedule.
Will that coincide with the high school schedule? 4-block to a 5-block?
It'll work. The blocks will be a little bit shorter,
Okay.
but the transition times for the classes that transition will still
Okay.
work out. It allows some extra credit for them to earn.
Okay.
And then our CT Center had pre-bid held on Thursday, April 7th. It looks like everybody's a little bit concerned about getting supplies and getting everything done for the fall, so a lot of stuff may not happen till the second semester next year.
So are they rebidding? We didn't accept any bids, did we?
We're still working with the ICS on what our next steps are. We have not accepted any bids yet. No.
That's it.
Any other board members? Reminder of the upcoming strategic planning session with April 18th, correct? No. What's the date gonna be?
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
For us, I think.
Coinciding with each of our board meetings.
Correct.
So the next two board meetings, May 2nd, will be a work session from 3 to 5, and then the regular business meeting will be at 5:30. And then also on May 16th, we'll have two work sessions. We'll have one from 3 to 4. We'll have our business meeting from about 4 to 5, and then another work session immediately follows, that'll last about 3 hours.
Great.
I believe I have it on all of your calendars, but if not, let me know.
You'll send reminders out because some board members, they just kind of space things out sometimes. So,
She keeps us in the loop.
that's good.
The committee has been working on that strategic plan, and they've gotten a lot of work done, and now we just need to bring some of that work to this level and get some input from the board on next
Sounds
steps.
great. We'll move on to our administrator's report.
Right, number of things to share tonight. In my report, I just wanted to highlight our new activities director has been hired. We've hired Mitch Grunig. He's going to start July 1st. He and his family are moving to Marshall from Fargo. He's currently an activities director with the charter school up north. He's coming down. He's excited to be here. He's already been working with Rick and Amber on planning for that transition, and he's going to spend a day with us in early May just to get a feel for things when school's in session and kids are around and attend some activities, that sort of thing. I also wanted to share about the Rotary a little bit. Each year, high school staff identifies student leaders to participate as student Rotarians with a new Rotary group. This has been a tradition of Marshall for a number of years. These students attend 2 meetings each year. They present a short speech at each meeting. The students really have represented our high school well with these Rotarians in town. They show really good leadership in their presentations. And coming up, we're excited about the last meeting in April. The Rotarians host a meeting for the Rotarians. So the students are they'll organize the meeting. We're going to hold it at the high school. Actually, they provide the meal. They do all the presentation, that sort of thing. So it'll be a fun event for them to wrap up the year and thank the Rotarians for hosting them for the whole year. Going on to Tiffany's report, Early Childhood. She shares that families will receive their letter with their class information for 22-23 by May 1st. 4-year-old classes are almost filled for next year. We have a couple openings yet in 3-year-old preschool classes. So she's working on finalizing those things. Those letters will be out soon. She also shared that the kindergarten and preschool teachers are collaborating in May, offering students an opportunity to explore kindergarten classrooms and meet kindergarten teachers. So it'll be a nice transition piece for our youngest learners. Parkside, Darcy shares that we are having a spring concert this week on April 21st. Last year, we had a recorded green screen concert that was fun, but this will be a first actual face-to-face. We had a second grade concert the other day, and they announced it was the second graders' first concert, and just hard to believe that with COVID and everything, it's been a number of years since we've been able to do some of that. It's been a nice experience for the kids to get back on the stage and do a live concert for parents. She also Darcy shares in her report that 11 teachers at Parkside, a lot of you have heard about the letters training. You hear the state talking about that. There's a grant that we're participating in where we have 11 teachers from Parkside that are currently participating in that, as well as a few teachers from Southview. Southview, Peter shares that spring concerts were held. I guess I just talked about that. They really did a nice job, and David Trevino is a music teacher with us this year. He coordinated that concert. It was a very nice show. He also thanks all staff about that volunteer time with supervision and coordination for the concerts. A lot of work, of course, for the music teacher, but then for the whole building it affects when we go to practice at the high school in the morning and get everything put together and keep a bunch of 8-year-olds together to get on stage for a show. Pete also shares that teachers are going through a book study on a weekly basis at Southview this year as well. They're doing a book called Shifting the Balance that talks about bringing the science of reading into a balanced literacy classroom. So just taking our literacy instruction to the next step. Feel it's essential work for teachers that teach reading to do that. Part of that work is going to be incorporating a 30-minute block of phonics instruction for second graders next year that has not currently been on the schedule. That was implemented at Parkside this year, so the next step is to continue that for next year's second graders. Middle school, she shares with Rotary, sixth grade students every year are invited to participate in a writing contest. The Rotary recently presented awards for that 4-way writing contest. Top 3 papers were chosen by a panel that received this distinguished award. Third place was Giselle Mares. She wrote about building a relationship with a family member. Second place was awarded to Laundry Gravin, who describes her commitment to her family by willingly shoveling the driveway. She could come to my house. And the top place was given, it says, writing about another student who struggles to make friendships, was the first place winner, Josh Michaels. So Josh was able to come and share his paper at the Rotary meeting last week. So he did a very nice job sharing that, and he was the grand prize winner. Maytech, Amanda shared that juniors participated in the ACT on April 5th. There were 8 students who took part in that testing. They received the results prior to the end of the school year. Cassie Rogotsky is a school counselor at Maytech, and she has plans to meet with each of them and go through their scores and help them determine what they do next once they get that ACT score. So it was a good process there. Maytech also took part of the Minnesota Student Survey on April 6th. That survey is put out by the Minnesota Department of Education and focuses on questions on activities, opinions, and behaviors. It's anonymous, voluntary, and confidential, and provides the state and school districts with information about students in their communities. Local and state public health agencies also use that information when they're monitoring trends in public health and risk behaviors. So that survey was taken at middle school and at high school level. High school, Brian shares that on April 5th, again about the ACT testing, they had 210 juniors participate at the high school. It's the 8th year as well that they've been able to offer that during the school day. The ACT tested during the school day. It's a nice option for students to all get the opportunity to take that test. Earlier this month, Brian also shares that they were notified of members of the high school speech team. They earned recognition through the National Speech and Debate Association. Students were recognized by the NSDA Honor Society for their points and degrees, Each point or each degree represents hours of learning, practice, and improvement for students and their dedicated coaches. And he has a full listing, there are a number of students, but they're listed on his report if you'd like to read that full list. Activities had a lot going on this spring. It seems like it's a never-ending lot of stuff going on there. Spring sports are up and running. Boys and girls golf, girls softball, boys baseball, boys and girls track, clay target league have all started. Spring weather has certainly proven to be a challenge, as it does many springs, so many contests have been canceled or rescheduled. He also shares the speech team qualified for state tournament on April 22nd, 23rd at Eastview High School. Manzi Bell, Lydia Wyverka, Lillian Gugesberg, Naomi Schroeder, and Mary Lanou will be participating, representing our high school. The high school junior-senior prom is scheduled for April 30th, hoping for nice weather that day. BPA team members will compete at nationals in Dallas on May 4th through 7th. Spring play is ramping up. They're performing a play called 12 Angry Jurors. It'll be in the high school on May 5th, 6th, and 7th. Rick also shared that the high school football coach, Terry Ballman, will be inducted into the Iowa High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame next fall. So he coached in Iowa before moving here, so that was an exciting announcement there. We'll have more about that when we get closer to that. Finally, Rick shares the Athletic Hall of Fame banquet is Saturday the 23rd at the Golf Club. Tickets can be reserved by contacting the high school office if anyone's interested in tickets to that. Special ed this month, Jackie shares the feature is the speech therapy department. We have 4.5 licensed speech language therapists in the district. It was a mouthful. I need a speech about myself. Positions fulfill the needs across all sites. The 0.5 position that we have is currently contracted through the service cooperative. Next year we will be changing, and we have actually hired an additional 1.0 FTE position that will be an MPS employee. So we'll be at a fully staffed at a 5.0 FTE. This team of staff meets the needs of approximately 185 students across the district. Teaching and learning, Beth shares a CEO board is excited to announce that Shanda Walker has accepted the position of CEO facilitator for the 22-23 school year. She brings entrepreneurial experience to the position and will lead an inaugural group of students beginning next fall. We're planning a student orientation on May 23rd, where students, the parents, and the CEO investors will all be invited to attend this banquet. Students will have the opportunity to meet Shanda as well as sign their letter of intent to participate in the program. With all the work everyone's been doing, we're really excited about having that kickoff event for later this spring. The coordinator of special projects, in her report, she shares the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee has selected the date for the American Indian Family Spring event. It'll be at the high school from 5 until 8 p.m. on Wednesday, May 11th. The event will consist of an indigenous meal, American Indian storytelling, Upper Sioux drum dance performance, and John Sterner will be sharing some of his life story as well. She also shares enrollment numbers for Project Success and after-school programming have been consistent with jobs ads occurring throughout the year. Project Success teachers are creating engaging lesson plans, accommodating after-school programming for all the students enrolled. This month, their special activity was the middle school students participated in a painting party with Miss Emily Carroll, the coordinator of the program. So that program will be wrapping up actually pretty soon, so some fun things going on there. Finally, in Dion's report, he shares that he had 3 companies attend the food service pre-bid meeting on March 24th. They shared general information about Marshall. They had a building tour during lunchtime so they could see operations, and bid opening for that will be this week on the 20th. He also shared results from both the transportation and the food service surveys that were recently completed by stakeholders across the district. So those are attached to his report to review.
Very good. Any questions, board members?
Is the CEO program full with kids now, or
It is.
Or did we have too many? Do we have to turn any away? Or?
There were more applications than there were slots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was exciting to see the number of kids that applied, and it was a blind application process, and it's all managed through Midland, so we don't get to just directly pick ourselves for that.
I participated in the committee that did the interviews for the CEO facilitator, and Shanda is really exciting, really enlightening. She's going to do a wonderful job with our program, just a wonderful job.
Where did she come from? What's her background?
She's got some like Jeremy said, she's got some entrepreneurial experience. Actually, she was a personal trainer to start with. Started her own business, and then had a family and wanted to spend a little bit more time, so made some career shifts. But she kind of comes with it from that background, so she'll do a really nice job. So
Good.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
Failed it. Moving on to our discussion items. This is our first review of policies 613 through 616. Anybody have any comments or questions? Moving on to our action items. This is approval of the CEO facilitator contract. Need a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
It's open for discussion.
This is for Shanda Walker, like we were just talking about. This contract is a little bit unique, so it's completely funded by the donors. The Service Cooperative Foundation actually holds the funds for that, so we will hold the contract for Shanda. She's actually kind of employed through that CEO board, so we'll work closely with them. Beth sits on that board, and Aaron's on that board, and we'll hire her to function for this, and we hold the contract so we can hold the license, help her with the licensure.
Where will she office?
It's a home office because they don't actually meet on site for any of the classes. So
And that's just a year at a time, or?
we're gonna do a year at a time with it because it's with the way the funding works for that.
Okay.
Very good. We'll vote, please. Is approved. Thank you, board members. Meeting is adjourned.